What's going on?
It's raining and we're trying to make a video for you guys.
Wait, why don't we just do this another time, bub?
Okay. Guys, dedication.
This is pure dedication, but these are the 3 rigs. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Garage Couple. On today's episode, I am gonna show you what to look for when you go to buy a Wrangler TJ that is in used condition. Now, if you guys don't already know, we added another Wrangler to our lineup. Ollie, why don't you go ahead and show them?
Walk all you down here. That's right. 1, 2.
So specifically to help you guys out, I made an entire checklist, a full page in smaller font so everything fits on one page. I made this so that you can go ahead and take this with you when you go to look for a Jeep Wrangler, TJ, JK, whatever you're looking for. And I'll put the link to this in the description below so you can download it, look it over, and go from there. Now, it's definitely a daunting task buying a used vehicle, especially one that might have 100,000 miles. I mean, our Rubicon has 140,000 miles and our TJ has over 260,000 miles. Between these 3 vehicles over here, we have like roughly 400,000 miles. 140, 100, that's 240. Yeah, about 500,000 miles. So definitely there are some aspects of the vehicles that need to be examined before purchasing, just to make sure you get a great deal and you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Typically what I like is a nice metal flashlight like so that you could use to poke and prod around. I'll drop a link in the description of my absolute favorite flashlight that you could use that is bright and has many modes. And without further ado, let's get started. So there are 2 stages of the inspection of the vehicle that I like to consider in my head. The first is with the motor off, and the second is with the motor on. So before you even check out how it runs, how the brakes work, any of those dynamic functions, you just have to do an inspection first. Now, if you refer to the PDF that I dropped in the description, the very first one that I have here is frame. If your frame is not in great condition, there is absolutely no point to purchasing the vehicle. The vehicle relies on the frame, and thus, if there's rust, if there's any holes, if it's been repaired, I would just stay away and just bypass the rest of the
Inspection,
yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Appreciate it. So the very first thing you're gonna do, and I don't want to do right now because it just poured it right before we recorded this video and the floors are completely wet, but grab your flashlight and go ahead and look at the frame, look at the entire frame of the vehicle. Now start from the rear, go underneath, prod it around, make sure you don't feel any soft spots, make sure you don't see any rust. In this case, it would take, so the frame goes all the way around on all 4 corners. So go underneath and knock that out. Task number 1. And while you're there, notice the different accessories that they might have added, wires, this kind of thing. Once you've ensured that the frame looks good, you've poked and prodded, you've seen all the rust spots, all of that kind of thing. The next thing you want to do is look at the body of the vehicle. You want to see any dents that there might be, any scratches, any imperfections to the body of the vehicle. Now, all of these could add up depending on if you want them repaired or not, but just this is a good time to walk around the entire vehicle, look for any damage, any scratches, any dents, any chips, any rust, that sort of thing. These are all gonna add up and eventually need to get repaired if that's what you're interested in. Now, one aspect of the body inspection that I'd like to highlight here is the actual floorboards, the tub of the vehicle, both in the rear and the front. And you have to do this in 2 ways. One, from underneath the vehicle, looking directly at the tub, making sure there's no holes. And number 2, by lifting up the carpet and taking a look for yourself directly underneath this area, making sure that there's no holes there as well. After you've inspected the body of the vehicle as well as the frame, now it's time to inspect still the engine, the transmission, transfer case, drive shaft, and both axles. And you can do this both by opening up the hood for some of the more the front components. And here's the hood, wide open.
Dripping wet.
Dripping wet because it literally just poured. Like, geez, cut me a break here. But okay, so you can go ahead and inspect the engine. What I like to do is inspect the air intake element here. Make sure that it's clear, there's no oil splashed on it or anything indicating a burnt valve or something like that. The next thing I like to do is check your oil. Now, just remove the dipstick, check the oil, smell it, make sure it doesn't smell like gasoline, and make sure the color looks appropriate. You don't want to see like burnt oil basically, and you also don't want to smell gasoline. Another thing that I like to do is just look around the valve cover area, make sure it doesn't look like it's leaking or anything like that. And then just go ahead and go around and look at all the fluid levels. So here's your power steering fluid. Why don't you can go ahead and unscrew this cap and take a, geez, already got my hand dirty. And take a look at the level of power steering fluid. Next, look at the level of coolant. If you're able to, open up this coolant cap here and look at both the color and the condition of the coolant. Next thing you could look at is the color of the brake fluid. It should look relatively clear and be pretty full.
I got one. How about checking the year of the battery? How old is the battery?
Ooh, that's a good one. If you could figure out how old the battery is, that'll give you pretty good insight as well into knowing if you're gonna spend
How about the belt?
couple $100. Belt is also a good one. You want to take a look at the condition of the belt always. Let's see here.
Trying
what
to
else
think.
did I write down? Also, just as an FYI, you don't want to open the coolant if it's been driven. It'll explode all over you. You don't want that happening to you. So at this point, and by the way, after you look up here, you can go underneath. So at this point, it's time to go underneath. Once you've inspected from up top, you can inspect from down bottom. What you should look for is any leaks, any dripping, anything that looks like it's been tampered with. Look directly at the engine, the transmission, the transfer case, all of that.
It's raining again, but we're started
It is
too late to go back.
I tore my paper. What is going on here?
Whew.
So after that, you want to confirm all of your electronics. Go in the vehicle, test out your headlights, high beams, turn signals, test out the rear reverse lights, brake lights, turn signals in the rear. Make sure that all the interior lights work. When you open the door, does the lights actually turn on? You want to check every single electrical component, make sure it works. Because if, let's say, the reverse lights don't work, that could be the bulb, it could be the wiring, it could be the switch on the transmission, it could be any number of things. So if you want to just avoid that altogether, and geez, no brake here at all, huh? With the rain. So lastly, after you've completed all of your inspection, you've already looked through all the electricals.
Cars, rain. What more can I ask for?
Once you've looked through all of the above, now it's time to put the key in the ignition and fire up the engine. And once you fire up the engine, I would recommend doing so with the hood open. Fire up the engine and come put your ear to the engine. Not literally, of course. I don't want to cause any trouble here, but you want to listen out for any abnormal sounds, chirping. I'm a fan of birds, but I don't want my car to make bird-like noises. So at that point, just go ahead and listen. Look at the belt and just look at all the components, how much the vehicle vibrates. It shouldn't be vibrating a whole lot. So once you listen, get the vehicle up to operating speed, take it for a spin. Put it in first, put it in second. At least take it to 65 miles an hour so you can see if you have death wobble, if there's any mechanical issues. So find your local freeway and just merge onto the freeway and
I'm stuck.
merge onto the freeway, drive down the freeway for a couple of minutes and get a feel for the vehicle. If it feels solid to you, it most likely is solid and you probably are getting a good vehicle.
Alrighty. Let's speed it up, Bubba.
All right,
I'm getting poured on.
I'm gonna speed it up. Lastly, since these are Wranglers, make sure the four-wheel drive works. Put it in 4 high, drive it straight. Put it in 4 low, drive it a little bit, just straight, just maybe like 20-30 feet, just making sure that it engages.
Jeep wave, baby. Woo!
That was pretty cool. I think he sees 3 of our rigs. All right, let's see here.
Parking brake.
Yeah, check out your parking brake and basically anything that can move, wipers, electricals, check everything out. So as much as we like making these videos, it is raining and it is time for us to go inside. Thank you for checking out this video. As you know, we got this Rubicon TJ. If you haven't seen the video for this yet, including the walk around, the link is gonna be right over there. And we're planning on doing many mods to it. In fact, that is why my hands are all black from this morning. We were spending all morning. We changed the air filter, we changed the spark plugs, we did the valve cover gasket, and we did the fuel injectors, and many other things, all mechanical today. So I hope these videos helped you feel more confident when going to buy a Wrangler TJ or a JK. If you have any questions at all, please drop a line below, and as always, thank you so much for your support.